The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 2, Section 2. The Atma or the Atman. Lecture delivered in America. Many of you have read Max Muller's celebrated book, Three Lectures on the Vedant Philosophy. And some of you may perhaps have read in German philosopher Duxin's book on the same philosophy. In what is been written and thought in the Western about the religion thought of India. One school of Indian thought is principally represented, that which is called Advaitism, the monastic side of the Indian religion, and some things and sometimes it is thought that all the teaching of the Vedas are comprised of the one system of philosophy. There are, however, various phases of Indian thoughts, and perhaps this non dualistic form is in the minority as compared with the other phases. From the most ancient times, there have been various sects of thoughts in India, and as there never was a formulated as as there never was a formulated or recognized church or any body of men to designate the doctrine which should be delivered by each school. People were very free to choose their own forms, make their own philosophy, and establish their own sects. We therefore find that from the most ancient times, India was full of religious sects. All the present times, I do not know how many hundreds of sects we have in India, and several fresh ones are coming into existence every year. It seems that the religious activity of that nation is simply exhaustible. Of these various sects, in the first place, there came to be two main divisions, the Orthodox and unorthodox. Those that believe in Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, has eternal revelation of truth, are called Orthodox, and those that stand on the other authorities, rejecting the Vedas, are the heterodox in India. Heterodox in India. The chief modern unorthodox Hindu sect are the Jain and Buddhist. Among the Orthodox, some declare that the scriptures are of much higher authority than religions. Others again say that only the portion of the scriptures which is rationally should be taken and the rest rejected. Of the three orthodox divisions, the Sankhya, the Nyaya Vikas, the Sankyas, the Nyaya Vikas, and Mimamsas, the former two, although they exist as philosophical school, failed to form any sector. The one sect that now really covers India is that of the later Mimamsas or the Vedantist. Their philosophy is called Vedantism. All the school of Hindu philosophy start from the Vedanta or Upanishad. But the monists took the name to themselves as the specialty because they wanted to base the whole of their theology and physiology upon the Vedanta and nothing else. In the course of time, Vedanta prevailed, and all the various sects of India that now exist can be referred to one or other of its school. At this school are not unanimous in their opinion. We find that there is three principal variation among the Vedantists. On one point, they all agree, and that is that they all believe in God. All these Vedantists are also believe the Vedas to be the revealed words of God, not exactly in the same senses, perhaps as the Christian or the Mohammedans believe, but in a particular but in a very peculiar sense. Their idea is that the Vedas are an expressions of the knowledge of God, and as God is eternal, this knowledge is eternal with him, and so are the Vedas eternal. There is another common group of belief, that of creation in cycles, that the whole of creation perhaps and disappears. creation appears and disappears, that it is projected and become grosser and grosser, and at the end of an incalculable period of time, it becomes finer and finer. When it dissolves and subsides, and then comes a period of rest, again it begins to appear and goes through the same process. They postulate the existence of matter, which they call Akash, which is something like the ether of the scientist, and the power which they call Pran. But about, about this pran, they declare that by its vibration the universe is produced. When a cycle ends, all this manifestation of nature becomes finer and finer and dissolve into Akash, which cannot be seen or felt, yet out of which everything is manufactured. All the forces that we see in nature, such as gravitation, attraction, repulsion, or as thoughts, feelings, and nervous emotion, all the various forces resolve into the pran, and the vibrations of the pran ceases. In the state it remains until the beginning of the new cycle. Pran then begins to vibrate, and the vibration acts upon the akash, and all these forms are thrown out in regular sections. The first school I will tell you about is styling the dualistic school. The dualists believe that God, who is the creator of the universe and its ruler, is eternally separate from nature, eternally separate from human soul. God is eternal, nature is eternal, so are all souls. Nature and the soul becomes manifested and changed, but the God remains the same. According to the dualist, again, this God is personal in that he has qualities, not that he has body. He has human attributes. He is merciful. He is just. He is powerful. He is almighty. He can be approached, he can be prayed to, he can be loved, he loves in return, and so forth. In one word, he is a human God, only infinitely greater than man. He has none of the evil qualities which men have. He is repository of an infinite number of blessed qualities. That is their definition. He cannot create without material, and nature is the material out of which he creates the whole universe. There are some non Vedantic dualists called atomists who believe that nature is nothing but the infinite number of atoms, and God's will acting upon these atoms creates. The Vedantis deny the atomic theory. They say it is perfectly illogical. The individual atom are like geometrical points without part or magnitude. But something without part or magnitude, if multiplied has infinite number of times, will remain the same. Anything that has no part will never make something that has parts. Any number of zero added together will not make one single whole number. So, if these atoms are such that they have no parts or magnitudes, the creation of the universe is simply impossible out of such atoms. Therefore, according to the Vedantic dualist, there is what they call indiscrete or undifferentiated nature, and out of that, God creates the universe. The vast mass of Indian people are dualist. Human nature ordinarily cannot conceive of anything higher. We find that 90% of the population of the earth who believe in any religion are dualist. All the religions of Europe, Western Asia are dualistic. They have to be. The ordinary man cannot think of anything which is not concrete. He naturally likes to cling to that which his intellect can grasp. That is to say, he can only conceive the higher spiritual ideas by bringing them down to his own level. He can only grasp abstract thoughts by making them concrete. This is the religion of the masses of the masses all over the world. They believe in God who is eternal. They believe in God who is eternal, separate from them, a great king, a high, mighty monarch, as it were. At the same time, they make him purer than the monarch of the earth. They give him all the good qualities and remove the evil qualities from him, as if it were ever possible for good to exist without evil, as if there could be any conception of light without the conception of darkness. With all dualistic theories, the first difficulty is how, with all dualistic theories, the first difficulty is how is it possible that under the rule of just and merciful God, the repository of infinite number of good qualities, there can be so many evils in this world. This question arose in all dualistic religions, but the Hindus never invented a Satan. Satan has an answer to it. To Hindus, with one accord, lays the blame on men, and it was easy for them to do so. Why? Because, as I have just now told you, they did not believe that soul were created out of nothing. We see in this life that we can shape and form our future. Every one of us every day is trying to shape the tomorrow. Today we fix the fate of the morrow. Today we fix the fate of the day after, and so on. It is quite logical that this reasoning can be pushed backward today backward too. If any if by our own deeds we shape our destiny in future, why not apply the same rule to the past? If in an infinite chain a certain number of links are alternately repeated, then if one of this group of link be explained, we can explain the whole chain. So in this infinite length of time, if we can cut off one portion and explain that portion and understand it, then if it if it be truth if it be truth that nature is uniform, the same explanation must explain to the whole chain of time. If it be true that we are working out our own destiny here within here within this here within this short space of time, if it be true that everything must have a cause as we see it now, it must be true that that which we are now is the effect of the whole of our past. Therefore no other person is necessary to shape the destiny of mankind but man himself. The evils that are in the world are caused by none else but ourselves. We have caused all these evils, and just as we constantly see misery resulting from evil actions, so can we also see that much of the existing misery in the world is the effect of the past wickedness of men. Man alone, therefore, according to this theory, is responsible. God is not to blame. He, the eternally merciful Father, is not to blame at all. We reap what we sow. Another peculiar doctrine of the dualists is that every soul must eventually come to salvation. No one will be left out. Through various vicissitudes, through the various sufferings and enjoyments, each one of them will come out in the end. Come out of what? The one common idea of all Hindu sect is that all souls have to get out of this universe. Neither the universe which we see and feel, nor even an imaginary one, can be right, the real one, because both are mixed up with good and evil. According to this dualist, there is beyond this universe a place full of happiness and good only, and when the place is reached, there will be no more necessity of being born and reborn, of living and dying. And this idea is very dear to them. No more diseases there, no more diseases there, no more death. There will be eternal happiness, and they will be in the presence of God for all time and enjoy Him forever. They believe that all beings, from the lowest worm up to the highest angels and gods, will all sooner or later attain to that world where there will be no more misery. But our world will never end. It goes on infinitely. Although moving in waves, although moving in cycles, it never ends. The number of souls that are to be saved, that are to be perfected in is infinite. Some are in plants, some are in the lower animals, some are in man, some are in God, but all of them, even the highest gods, are imperfect, has in bondage. What is the bondage? The necessity of being born, the necessity of dying. Even the highest gods die. What are these gods? They mean certain states, certain offices. For instance, Indra, the king of God, means a certain office. Some soul which are very high has gone to fill that post in this cycle, and after this cycle he will be born again as man and come down to this earth. And man who is very good in this cycle will go and fill the post in the next cycle. So with all these gods there are certain offices which have been filled alternately by millions and millions of souls who, after filling those offices, came down and became men. Those who do good work in the world and help others, but with an eye to reward, hoping to reach heaven or to get praise of their fellow men, must, when they die, reap the benefit of those good works. They become these gods. But that is not salvation. Salvation never will come through hope of reward. Whatever man desires, the Lord gives him. Man desires power, they desire prestige, they desire enjoyment of as gods, and they get this desire fulfilled. But no effect of work can be eternal. The effect will be exhausted after a certain length of time. It may be aeon, but after that it will be gone. And these gods must come down again and become men and get another chance for liberation. The lower animals will come up and become men and become God, perhaps then becomes men again and go back to the animal until the time when they will be get rid of all desire for enjoyment, get rid of all desire for enjoyment, the thirst for life, this clinging on to the me and mine. This me and mine is the very root of all the evil in the world. If you all ask a dualist, is your child yours? He will say, it's a God. It is God's. My property is not mine, it is God's. Everything should be held as God. Now, this dualistic sect in India are great vegetarian, great preachers of non-killing of animals, but their idea about it is quite different from that of the Buddhist. If you ask a Buddhist, why do you preach against killing animal? He will answer, we have no right to take any life. And if you ask a dualist, why do not kill any animal? He says, because it is the Lord. So the dualistic says that this me and mine is to be applied to God, and God alone. He is only me, and everything is He. When a man has come to the state, when he has no me and mine, when everything is given up to the Lord, when he loves everybody and is ready even to give up his life for an animal without any desire for rewards, then his heart will be purified. When the heart has been purified, into the heart will come the love of God. God is the center of attraction for every soul. And the dualistic says, a needle covered up with clay with not will not be attracted by a magnet, but as soon as the clay is washed off, it will be attracted. God is the magnet, and human soul is the needle, and its evil works, the dirt, the dust, and the dust that cover it, as soon as the soul is pure, it will be natural attraction, come to God and remain with Him forever, but remain eternally separate. The perfect soul, if it wishes, can take any form. It is able to take 100 bodies if it wishes, or have none at all if it so desires. It becomes almost almighty, except that it cannot create. The power belongs to God alone. None, however perfect, can manage the affair of the universe. That function belongs to God. But all soul but all souls, when they become perfect, become happy forever, live eternally with God. This is the dualistic statement. One other idea the dualistic preach. They protest against the idea of praying to God. Lord, give me this, give me that. They think that should not be done. If a man must ask some material gift. He should ask inferior beings for it. Ask one of these gods or angels or a perfected being for temporary things. God is only to be loved. It is almost a blasphemy to pray to God. Lord, give me this, give me that, according to the dualist. Therefore, what the man wants, he will get sooner or later by praying to one of the gods. But if he wants salvation, he must worship God. This is the religion of the masses of India. The real Vedant philosophy begins with those known as qualified non dualist. They make the statement that the effect is never different from the cause. The effect is but the cause reproduced in another form. If the universe is the effect and God the cause, it must be God Himself. It cannot be anything but that. They start with the assertion that God is both the efficient and the material cause of the universe, that He Himself is the creator and He Himself is the material out of which the whole nature is projected. The word creation is your language has no equivalent in Sanskrit because there is no sect in India which believes in creation. As it is regarded in the West, has something come out of nothing. It seems that at the same time there were a few that had some ideas, some such ideas, but they were very quickly silenced. At the present time, I do not know of any sect that believes this. What we mean by creation is projection of that which already existed. Now, the whole universe, according to this sect, is God Himself. He is the material of the universe. We read in the Vedant as Vedant has the Urna Urnanabhi. Urnanabhi as the Urnanabhi, that is spider, spins the thread out of Urnanabhi, that is spider, spins the thread out of his own body. Even so, the whole universe has come out of the being. If the effect is the cause reproduced, if the effect is the cause reproduced, the question is how is it that we find this material, dull, unintelligent universe produced from the God, and who is not material but who is eternal intelligent? How? If the cause is pure and perfect, can the effect be quite different? What do this qualified non dualists say? There is a very peculiar theory. They say that these three existences, God, nature, and soul, are one. God is has it where the soul and nature and souls of the body. The God is has it where the soul and nature and are the body, soul and nature are the body of the God. Just as I have a body and I have a soul, so the whole universe and all souls are the body of God, and the God is the soul of the body, and God is the soul of the souls. Thus, God is the material cause of the universe. Body may be changed, may be young or old, strong or weak, but that does not affect the soul at all. It is the small eternal existence manifesting through the body. Bodies come and go, but the soul does not change. Even so, the whole universe is the body of God, and in that sense of God, but the change in the universe does not affect God. Out of this material, he creates the universe, and at the end of the cycle, his body becomes finer. It contracts at the beginning of another cycle. It becomes expanded again, and out of it evolve all these different worlds. Now, both the dualist and the qualified non-dualist admit that the soul is by the soul is by its nature pure, but through its own deeds it becomes impure. The qualified non-dualist express it more beautifully than the dualist by saying that the soul's impurity or soul's purity and perfection become contracted and again become manifest. And what we are now trying to do is to re-manifest the intellectual, the spirit, the purity, the power which is natural to the soul. Soul has a multitude of qualities, but not that the almightiness or all knowingness. Ever wicked deed contract the nature of soul, and every good deed expands it. And this soul are all parts of God. As from a blazing firefly, millions of sparks of the same nature, even so from its this infinite being, this soul have come. Each has the same goal. The God of the qualified non dualistic is also a personal God, the repository of any infinite number of blessed quality only. He is interpenetrating everything in the universe. He is the eminent in everything and everywhere. When the scriptures say that God is everything, it means that God is interpreting everything. Not the God has become the wall, but the God is in the wall. There is not a particle, not an atom in the universe where He is not. Soul and soul are all limited. Souls are all limited. They are omnipresent. When they get expansion of their powers and become perfect, there is no more birth and death for them. They live with God forever. Now we come to Vedantism or to Advaitism, the last and what we think the fairest flower of philosophy and religion that any country in any age has produced, where humans thoughts attains its highest expression and even goes beyond the mystery which seems to be impenetrable. This is non-dualistic Vedantism. It is too absurd, too elevated to be the religion of the masses. Even in India, its birthplace, where it has been ruling superior for the last 3000 years, it has not been able to permeate the masses. As we go on, we shall never we as we go on, we shall find that it is difficult for even the most thoughtful men and women in any country to understand Advaitism. We have made ourselves so weak. We have made ourselves so low. We may we may make great change, but naturally we want to lean to somebody else. We are like little weak plants, always wanting to support. How many times I have been asked for a comfortable religion. Very few men ask for the truth, fewer still dare to learn the truth, and fewest of all dare to follow it in all its practical bearings. It is not their fault, it is the weakness of the brain. Any new thought, especially of a high kind, creates the disturbance, tries to make a new channel, has it where in the brain matter, and the unhinging the system. Through men of their balance, they are used to certain surroundings and have to overcome a huge mass of ancient superstitions, ancestry superstitions, class superstitions, city superstitions, country superstition, and behind all the vast mass of superstition that is innate in every human being. Yet there are few brave souls in the world who dare to conceive the truth, who dare to take it up, and who dare to follow it to the end. What does the Advaitis declare? He says, if there is a God, that God must be both the material and the efficient cause of the universe. Not only he creator, but he is also the not only he is the creator, but he is also the created. He himself is this universe. How can that be? God, the pure, the spirit, has become the universe. Yes, apparently so. That which all ignorant people see as the universe does not really exist. What are you and I? All these things we see, mere self hypnotism. There is but one existence, infinite, the ever blessed one. In that existence, we dream all these various dreams. It is the Atma beyond all, the infinite beyond the known, beyond the knowable, in and through that we see the universe. It is only reality. It is This table, it is the audience before me, it is the wall, it is everything, minus the name and form. Take away the form of the table, take away the name. What remain is it? The Vedantis does not call it either he or she. These are fictions, delusions of human brain. There is no sex in the soul. People who are under delusion or illusion, who have become like animals, see a woman or man, living God, do not see man or woman. How can they who are beyond everything have any sex ideas? Everyone and everything is the Atma, self, the selfless, the pure, the ever blessed. It is the name, the form, body, which are material, and can all they can make all this difference. If you take away these two difference of name and form, the whole universe is one. There are no two, but one everywhere. You and I are one. There is neither nature nor God nor universe, only one infinite existence, out of which through the name and form all these are manufactured. How to know the knower? It cannot be known. How can you see your own self? You can only reflect yourself. So, all the universe is the reflection of one eternal being, the Atma. And as the reflection falls upon good and bad reflectors, so good and bad images are cast up. And thus, in the murderer, the reflector is bad and not the self. It is in the same, the reflector is pure. The self, the Atma, is by its own pure nature. It is the same, the one existence of the universe that is reflecting itself from the lowest form of to the highest and the most perfect being. The whole of the universe is one unity, one existence, physical, mental, morally, and spiritually. We are looking upon this one existence in different forms and creating all these images upon it. To the being who has limited himself to the condition of man, it appears as the world of man. To the being who is one, who is on a higher plane of existence, it may seem like heaven. There is but one soul in the universe, not two. It neither comes nor goes. It is neither born nor dies nor reincarnates. How can it die? Where can it go? All these heavens, all these earths, all these places are vain imaginations of the mind. They do not exist, never existed in the past, and never will exist in the future. I am omnipresent, eternal. Where can I go? Where am I not already? I am reading this book of nature, page after page. I am finishing and turning over, and one dream of life after another goes away. Another page of life is turned over. Another dream of life comes and it goes away, rolling and rolling. And when I have finished my reading, I let it go and stand aside. I throw away the book and the whole thing is finished. What does the Advaitist preach? He dethrones all the gods that ever existed or ever will exist in the universe and places on the throne the self of Atman, the Atma, the higher than the sun, the moon, higher than the heavens, greater than this great universe itself. No book, no scriptures, no science can ever imagine the glory of self that appears as man, the most glorious God that ever was. The only God that ever existed, exists, or ever will exist. I am to worship. Therefore, none but myself. I worship myself. Says the Advaitist, to whom shall I bow down? I salute myself. To whom shall I go for help? Who can help me? The infinite being of the universe. These are foolish dreams, hallucination. Who ever helped anyone? None. Wherever you see a weak man or dualistic weeping and wailing for help from somewhere above the skies, it is because he does not know that the skies also are in him. He wants help from the skies and comes. We see that it comes, but it comes from within himself and he mistakes it as coming from a without. Sometimes a sick man lying on his bed may hear a tap on the door. He gets up and opens it and finds no one there. He goes back to the bed and again he hears a tap. He gets up and opens the door. Nobody is there. At last, he finds that it was his own heartbeat which he fenced with a knock at the door. Thus, man, after this vain search after various gods outside himself, completes the circle and comes back to the point from which he started, the human soul. And he finds that God whom he was searching in hill and dale, whom he was seeking in every brook, in every temple, in church and heaven, that God whom he was even imagining as sitting in the heaven and ruling the world, is his own self. I am he, and he is I. None but I was God, and this little I never existed. Yet, how could that perfect God have been diluted? He never was. Now, how could a perfect God have been dreaming? He never dreamed. Truth never truth never dreams. The illusion arises from illusion alone. There will be no illusion as soon as the truth is seen. Illusion always rests upon illusion. It never rests upon God, the truth, the Atma. You are never in illusion. It is the illusion that is in you, before you. A cloud is here, another comes and pushes it aside and takes its place. Still another comes and pushes that away. As before the eternal blue sky, clouds of various hue and color come, remain for a short time and disappear, leaving it the same eternal blue. Even so are you, eternally pure, eternally perfect. You are the veritable God of the universe. Nay, there are not two. There are not two. There is but one. It is mistaken to say you and I. Say I. It is I who am eating in millions of mouths. How can I be hungry? It is I whom am walking through an infinite number of hands. How can I be inactive? It is I who am living the life of the whole universe. Where is death for me? I am beyond all life, beyond all death. Where shall I seek for freedom? I am free by my nature. Who can bind me? The God of this universe. The scriptures of the world are but little maps wanting to delineate my glory. Who am the only existence of the universe? Then what are these books to me? Thus says the Advaitist. Know the truth and be free in a moment. All the darkness will then vanish when man has seen himself as one with the infinity being of the universe. When man has seen himself as one with the infinity being of the universe, when all separateness has ceased, when all men and women, all God and angel, all animals and plants, and the whole universe have melted into the oneness, then all fear disappears. Can I hurt myself? Can I kill myself? Can I injure myself? Whom to fear? Can you fear yourself? Then will all sorrow disappear? What can cause me sorrow? I am the one existence of the universe. Then all jealousies will disappear. To of whom to be jealous? Of myself. Then all the bad feelings disappears. Against whom can I have my bad feelings? Against myself? There is none in the universe but I, and this is the one way, says the Vedantis, to knowledge. Kill out all this differentiation, kill out this superstition that there are many. He who is in this world of many sees the one, he who in this mass of insentences, insentences sees that one sentient being. He who in this world of shadows catches that reality, unto him belongs eternal peace, unto none else. These are the salient point of the three steps which Indian religion thought has taken in regard to God. We have seen that it begins with the personal, the extra cosmic God. It went from the external to the internal cosmic body. God eminent in universe and ending in identifying the soul itself with that God, making one soul a unit of all these various manifestation in the universe. This is the last word of the Vedas. It begins with dualism, goes through the qualified monism, and ends in a perfect monism. We know how very few in this world can come to last or even dare believe in it, and fewer still dare act according to it. Yet, we know that therein lies the explanation of all ethics, of all morality, and all spirituality in the universe. Why is it that everyone says, do good to others? Where is the explanation? Why is it that all great men have preached the brotherhood of mankind, and greater men the brotherhood of all lives? Because whether they were conscious of it or not, been all that through all their rational, irrational, and personal superstitions, was pouring forth the eternal light of self denial, all the manifoldness, and asserting that the whole universe is one, is but one. Again, the last word gave, again, the last word gave us one universe, which through the senses we see as matter, through the intellect has souls, and through the spirit has God. To the man who throws upon himself veils, which the world calls wickedness and evil, this very universe will change and become a hideous place to another man who wants enjoyment. This very universe will change its appearance and become a heaven, and to the perfect man, the whole thing will vanish and become his own. Now, as society exists at the present time, all these three stages are necessary. The one does not deny the other. One is simply the fulfillment of the other. Advaitist or the qualified Advaitist does not say that dualism is wrong. It is a right view, but a lower one. It is one of the way to truth. Therefore, let everybody work out his own vision of this universe according to his own ideas. Injure none, deny the position of none, take man where he stands, and if you can, lend him lend him a helping hand and put him on the higher platform. But do not injure and do not destroy. All will come to truth in the long run. When all the desires of the heart will be vanished, then this very mortal will become immortal. This very mortal will become immortal. Then the very man will become a god. When all desires of the heart will be vanished, when all desires of the heart will be vanished, then this very mortal will become immortal. Then the very man will become God.